Hi, it's Keith.
And Mark.
We're exploring south central Wisconsin. We started in Monroe, where we flew into Monroe.
Tower standby, traffic plan. 657 traffic, 105, 4 miles southbound citation, 3000. Don't get sorry, 12657.
Guest across.
Page 40 Foxtrot on ILS to left.
We are ready to buzz out here.
Hi, it's Keith. My friend Mark and I taking a little bike trip, and we're glad you could join us. What was the name of the first trail?
That was the Badger State Trail, I believe.
Badger State Trail. So we took that like 13, 14 miles. Lots of bridges on this trail. We switched off to Little Sugar River.
I believe that's right.
Little Sugar River, we took that into New Glarus, where we found the...
Well, we found a nice winery called Bailey's Run Vineyard, and lucky for us, they had some live entertainment going on. The wine was pretty cheap, I have to say. I think it was like $14 or something like that for a bottle of wine and $8 for a cheese plate. That's not bad. So I had a little snack and listened to some live music and rested our legs.
Yes, we needed to rest the legs. We gave some of the cheese to the dog. He liked it. And then, so getting to that winery was...
It's a little uphill.
Uphill, and then uphill, and then we got to the big hill. So that took a bit out of me, but coming back, all downhill.
And then the campground where we're at now is what, 3 miles south of downtown New Glarus. It's not a bad little camp area. It's sadly a little too close to the road, so there's a lot of road noise, but I'm sure that'll settle down here.
Hopefully.
But well, the sites are fine, and it's literally inches from the trail. So
yes,
very convenient if you're biking one of these trails.
All right. Well, that's day one. We'll see you in the morning.
Ciao.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, day 2. We are leaving New Glarus Woods State Park and heading into New Glarus for a little breakfast.
coffee urn lamp is impressive. If it still made coffee, I'd be amazed.
We started in New Glarus. We experienced the driftless zone as we pedaled up and down hills to get back to the trail.
I think that's the brewery, that white building kind of up high on that hill.
Oh yeah.
That's where the, just past that campground.
But it was okay because we would have had to make a bypass because the tunnel is closed, the old railroad tunnel. So we hit that bypass about halfway. Morning, donkeys. Morning, cows. Got a silo here that's still in use. We got some dairy cows this time. These ones back there were beef. Sandhill cranes. Reminds me of home.
It wasn't too bad. Yeah, I mean, we got over to back onto the Badger State Trail, and the trail was good. We just rejoined the trail, and we thought we were going to have to take a detour up some steep hills. And it turns out that the route that we took across from New Glarus pretty much was the detour, and so we're now back on the trail, and it wasn't as painful as we were anticipating.
When the railroads put through their lines, they just put little bridges over all of these dips and then build up mounds so they had a nice steady grade because trains don't go uphill very well. They make excellent bike trails.
And rolled through a couple small towns, Bellevue. This must be Bellevue.
Bellevue?
Beautiful Bellevue, Wisconsin.
Are we done? This was the old Bellevue Library. Here, we finally got an old railroad bridge to cross over. Looks like they put on a new deck for us, but nice old trusses. I wonder how old it is. Crossing over the Sugar River, I bet. You can drop off your corn and beans. Fitchburg, that's where we got off the Badger Trail in Fitchburg. Well, we've hit Fitchburg and the trail suddenly is paved. Quite nice. We're getting closer to Madison, so I imagine these trails get a lot more use. Somebody's appreciating the tourist traffic. And got on the Military Ridge Trail. So we could have just turned left down a path that went from trail to trail. But they've got these new bridges, so we crossed over the busy road through the big loop-de-loops, went down the other side of the street, crossed the big loop-de-loops over the other bridge, which was way
Amateur mistake.
out of our way.
Yeah, you could have just simply followed the road and it would have linked up, but the signage kind of implies that you ought to do this, which is incorrect.
Yeah.
After that minor inconvenience, then we were back on the Military Ridge Trail, which was also a pretty fast trail, and
Nice.
continued on to Verona, where we took a lunch break.
Where?
Icky Sticky.
Yeah.
And then we hopped right back on the trail and continued to Mount Horeb, which was interesting. Learned a couple things. That's where the Driftless Museum was.
We learned all about why this area is so hilly.
no glaciers. That's the
Yeah.
punchline.
Yeah. And we also learned that the Duluth Trading Post
Trading company.
headquarters is not in Duluth.
It is actually in Mount Horeb, which is not a very big town.
Next up, the Grumpy Troll.
Early Monday morning to Friday at 5, man, I work, but I don't cry. My Spain been shoving overtime up this can. All I gotta do is put it in. Fill it up, throw it down. We got a 40-hour week worth of trouble to drown. No need to complicate it. I'm a simple man. All I wanna do is put a drink in my hand. Yeah!
Woo! Cheers, everybody! Here's to a great day. Thank you so much for being here with us.
For the receiver, because I hear it clicking. It's right here. There's the receiver.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah.
tell you what you're sending. All right, send me a message.
Okay. Oh, it's not very consistent.
Okay, that's SOS.
Yeah.
So we started our trip somewhere in here. We came up this way. Now we're heading across this ridge. We end up here tonight to camp. Back down this way. Stay somewhere around here. And then back to Monroe. People have been living in this area for about 12,000 years. Sticks.
How did the Thompson family get a drink of water?
Oh, I'm gonna guess, yep. There
Water
it is.
pump.
Pump in the middle. So that's how you got a drink of water, huh?
Yeah, that's what we do.
Alright.
That's how we do it.
So we got a Babcock butterfat tester. So you use these little bottles in here, and you add your milk, and you add some sulfuric acid. That breaks down all the solids in the milk, leaving only the fat. And then you put it in the spinner there, the centrifugal spinner. All the fat will float to the top into the thin neck of that bottle. You can measure it. That tells you your butterfat content of your milk. And back then, fat was desired. The better fat content, the more money you got. Today we like skim milk, so nobody wants fat in their milk anymore. Started converting the rails to trails in the 1960s. We're hunting trolls. Oh, there's one. There's another one. So this isn't where the trolls live?
I guess that's a troll house, but... And then it was, I think, what, about 6 miles from Mount Horeb to get here to the park?
The part of the trail here has got noisy neighbors. So we're here for the night at Blue Mounds State Park at their Cart-In campground. Cart-In and bike campground. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Home for the evening. Blue Mounds State Park. So we're going to continue on with day 3. We started at Blue Mounds, which is the highest point in southern Wisconsin. We went up to see the observation towers. They have an east and a west. Which one do you like best?
Gosh, they're both pretty good. I'd say in the morning it's the east.
Yeah.
In the evening it's the west.
We went up there in the morning, so the east, and plus the east had more recognizable things. You could see Madison, sort of. You could see the Wisconsin River. There's the Wisconsin River. There's Baraboo. There's Madison, Wisconsin, capital. There's Blue Mound. This is the West Tower. You can see Platte Mound and Belmont Mound. And this is the driftless zone. This area was formed over 400 million years ago, and it's been eroding ever since. We're heading out of Blue Mounds State Park off to Dodgeville on the Military Ridge Trail. And since we started at the high point, our day was mostly downhill. Breakfast at
Ridgeway. Yes, Ridgeway at the Badger Mart.
So then we went off to Dodgeville, which you said that's the county seat?
That's the county seat, yeah. Dodgeville is named for the first governor of the territory of Wisconsin, Governor Dodge. I was not impressed with Dodgeville. I'm going to put that out there right now, that I was expecting more. It seemed like it had some potential, but it just wasn't a great stopping point.
And the trail is kind of iffy there because you're on streets to get from the Military Ridge Trail to the Cheese Country Trail. There were a couple little spurts of paved trails.
Yeah, here and there there's dedicated bike trail, but a lot of it's on county road. Not heavily trafficked. I mean, it's fine. The hardest part is sort of getting out of town and onto the smaller roads. Once you're onto the county highways and these intermittent bike paths, it's fine. But basically, it's not really a true bike trail until you get back to Mineral Point.
Yeah. Now, Mineral Point, where we stopped for lunch, that was very nice. A lot of old buildings, hillside, you know, very quaint little town. Good variety of shops. They had art, would you call them galleries?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Pottery stores. So there we had lunch at the, remember what it was called?
Midway Bar, I believe.
Midway Bar. It was the highest rated on Google.
4.7.
It was good, but at that point I was hurting. I didn't have much of an appetite. I hadn't drank enough water. So we rested there and then got onto the Cheese Country Trail,
which is an ATV trail as opposed to a bike trail, so it's not quite as nice. Some parts are pretty good. Other parts can be pretty rough with unconsolidated gravel and sometimes some kind of pretty big coarse gravel, which makes it some tough riding here and there.
Yeah, 40% of it I'd say was fine. 10% of it was dangerous, and the rest was somewhere in between.
But doable. I would certainly recommend the right kind of bike for that. I'm riding a little folding bike with, you know, fairly wide tires, but you know, it's definitely unstable on certain parts. A true fat tire bike would be much appreciated at this point.
Well, if I were a cow, this is where I'd want to live.
Darlington itself looks like a, you know, pretty cute little city. It's got some stuff there. We didn't really get to fully explore it. It is under, the main street is being completely torn up, and so it's a bit of a disaster zone. Hard to get to businesses. I'm sure it's not helping their business district right now. But you know, it seemed like it's a decent stopping point.
There was a campground there, much like this one. You know, grass. This one had more trees. Mostly set up, I think, for the ATV crowd. So we headed up the hill to a hotel to spend the night there. So we're here in Darlington for the night. We'll see you tomorrow. Day 4. We're on the Cheese Country Trail. A little bit bumpy, but it's downhill.
There are definitely places when you get on that loose gravel where you're slipping and sliding, and it takes a lot of attention just to, you know, make sure you don't lose your balance. So up until we got on the ATV trail, I'd say any bike would do you. On this stretch, which is, you know, all the way from Mineral Point down through Darlington and then back over to Monroe, it's all ATV trail, and the best bike for this would be something with wide tires. You know, your mountain bike, or one of those gravel bikes, which I never really saw much purpose in. But now that I've been on this trail, I'm like, gravel bike. That's
why
with the 4-inch tires.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not such a bad idea after all.
Apparently this is where old McDonald's farm was. We are done with the Cheese Country Trail. We've just entered Monroe, and we're looking for a place to eat. The end of our journey. Thanks for sticking with us. Which way from here?